Hi, my name is Bianca. I'm an RN and certified pediatric emergency nurse in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I'm here to talk to you no bullshit about unions. I will be only utilizing information from government sources, okay? Because unions are a government federally protected right in the United States of America. So a union is a collective of employees of a business that come together in order to collectively bargain with their workforce to negotiate for better benefits, better pay, in nurses' cases, like say staffing ratios, things of that nature, into a contract that their employer must legally abide by. Okay. It is a membership-driven, democratically run, law-governed entity. Collective bargaining contracts are legally binding by the employees and employer. So, example, like a hospital policy is written in sand. At any point in time, a hospital can say, nope, that was in the policy and we've changed it now. You don't get that benefit, or you don't get that shift bonus, or you don't get the whatever, or this was our ratios and now it's different. At any point in time, they can change it. They can't with a union contract. A union contract is etched in concrete, okay? It cannot be rescinded until the contract goes back up for negotiations, okay? So, the benefits of unionizing. Why do people unionize? Well, one of the biggest reasons is because it increases workers' wages. So on average, unionized employees make 18% more than non-unionized employees, okay? And also a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So if one business unionizes and those workers negotiate for better pay, better benefits, better job conditions, because we live in a society of like free market capitalism, other businesses in the same sector would have to compete with those, okay? So not only is unionizing good for the employees of a union, unionizing is good for anybody that lives in the area of a business being unionized. Currently, right now, only, I believe 10% of American workers are in a union, compared to a significantly higher amount, like back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So the way to unionize is through union elections. So how you get a union election is you talk to your coworkers, talk to everybody that works with you about, hey, how do you feel about like collectively organizing, beep-bop-boo, and then you're going to contact a union organization that is like representative of what you are doing. Like I believe like truck drivers have the Teamsters. For nurses, I think the biggest one is National Nurses United. So reaching out to your union organizer and then talking to enough people to where you get at least 30% of your coworkers interested in holding a union election. So the way that you do that is with cards. So in order to form a union election, you need 30% of your workforce to say, yes, I am interested in a union, and you do that by signing a union card. Sometimes you'll hear people say, like, it's a legally binding contract and you can never escape it. If you want to call it legally binding, sure. It's just a piece of cardboard that goes to the National Labor Relations Board and says that you want to hold a union. It does not do anything else because the union is not here. This is the steps to getting a union. You're not signing away your soul. You're not saying that you're going to pay dues. It is none of that. It is just saying, yes, I would like to hold a union election in my business. Period. The end. That's what it's legally binding you to. Okay, if you want to call it legally binding, and in order to be super scary, that's all it's doing. If you want to call it legally binding, go for it. Cool. That's you telling the National Labor Relations Board, I would like to organize and have an election. But also, guess what? At any point in time during this process, you can call the NLRB and say, actually, you know what? Never mind. I want the card back. And they'll remove it from the pile. Ooh. Anyway, once you get at least 30% of your workforce signed up on a union card saying that I would like to hold a union election, you get a union election. And in order to win your union, you need to get at least 50% plus one of the vote yes. So of everyone who is eligible to vote and votes, more than 50% of them need to vote yes in order for a union to become to fruition. And then after that, you hold council and meetings to discuss what will be in the union contract, right? So people do want to talk about things like dues. There are union dues. It's usually like not even 2% of your paycheck, maybe like I think it's something like $30 something a month. It's something negligible, tiny, especially when you're talking about comparing to making 18% more. Take my 2%. You know what I'm saying? And then secondly, the state of Louisiana is a right to work state. So in the state of Louisiana, even if your facility is unionized, you have the right to not pay any dues and not be part of the union, but you still get the benefits of a union contract. Okay. So if a union wins, you are not obligated in the state of Louisiana to pay a union due or to say that you're a union member, but you still get all the benefits of one. Okay. So important to know. There's 27 states that are right to work states. Louisiana is one of them. All right. A lot of employers do not want their employees to unionize. Why? Let's check the board. Okay, the Department of Labor. Here is a graph from the Department of Labor. If you notice, this is unionization, right? And this is like the top 10% of human beings on Earth. When unions were the highest, employees' wages were the highest, and there was little wealth inequality, right? Everybody was making close to a sane amount of money, okay? As unions started to dip off, wealth inequality got more huge. Look at this gap. Employers are making an insane amount compared to employees that are making nothing, okay? So unionization, whether or not all of these people in this box are unionized, it doesn't matter. A rising tide lifts all boats, okay? It's good for the economy to unionize. Bad for the top 10%, good for the remainder of the 90% of humans. Because of this, actually, I'm going to show you an example. So I live in New Orleans, and we live in a healthcare duopoly. So you're either going to go to Ochsner or you're going to go to LCMC. Let's pull up Ochsner just so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is ProPublica's data on the public information regarding the salaries of CEOs and higher ups at Ochsner, because they have to release that information. All right, cool. So if you look at 2022, I don't have data for 2023 that has not been released yet. If you look at 2022's data, the CEO for Ochsner made $10 million last year. And if you follow the trend, he's making $1 million every year, because in 2021, he made $9 million. In 2020, he made $6 million. In 2019, he made $4 million. So you see, since 2019, 5 years ago, he was making $4 million. Now he's gone up more than $1 million every year since then. Now he's making $10 million. He don't want to give that up. That's so corrupting amount of money. You don't want to give up $10 million. And to put it in perspective, so this is the Glassdoor statistics on nurses at Ochsner. They on average make 66 to 86K, okay, with a mean of 75,000. So if you do the math, the CEO of Ochsner currently makes 133 times more than the nurses at Ochsner do, right? Okay, and it is the nurses at Ochsner that are providing the labor that make him the 10 mil, right? And it's not even just the nurses. I'm just talking about nurses because we're talking about a nursing union. But in reality, every worker of a hospital should be collectively bargaining. The respiratory therapists, the dietary people, the EVS workers, the CNAs, the techs, everyone, the unit receptionists, collectively bargaining, okay? So, because CEOs want to be CEOs and make millions of dollars every year in profits, they don't want us to unionize. So they do things like union busting. So it is important to know what your rights are as an employee attempting to unionize. So your employers cannot fire, demote, or transfer any employees for expressing pro-union views, and they cannot reward employees for expressing non-union beliefs or anti-union beliefs. They cannot impose new paperwork to retain employment. They cannot contact law enforcement. They cannot reduce pay, reduce hours, or reduce benefits. They cannot make work more difficult or less desirable. They cannot change a schedule, deny overtime, separate employees. They cannot tell employees that it's pointless to choose a union. And they can't hire a third party to do any of those things either, okay? You have the right, okay? This is your rights. Under the National Labor Relations Act, you have the right to organize a union, to form and bargain collectively, to discuss your terms of employment, to strike, to picket. And your employer cannot threaten you, refuse to give you a process of a grievance, maintain discriminatory standards, take adverse actions against you. They cannot prohibit you from discussing unions, especially during non-work hours. They cannot question you about your union support. They cannot fire, demote, or transfer. They cannot threaten you. They can't give you a pay raise if you agree to not unionize. They cannot prohibit you from wearing any kind of pro-union button, shirt, whatever, accessory. And they cannot survey you. If it is outside of what the hospital would normally do as far as security and surveillance, they cannot increase it due to union activity. That is illegal. It is a violation of federal law to spy with either management, video, security, any of it. That is illegal, okay? So, hopefully you're aware now, got a little more information about what a union is based on reality and all the government resources that I have provided you. I will give links to all of these things in the comment section so you can see, or in the video description so you can go and click on them and read at your will, because there will be third-party companies that come in to do union education, but in reality it's union busting, and your employer will do anything and everything in their power to stop a union from happening because your management is governed by corporate overlords and they have decided to line CEO pockets instead of prioritizing their employees' well-being and federally protected rights. So that is a union. I will give more information about union busting and union busting tactics later, but there we go. Collectively organize, bargain, negotiate for better. A rising tide lifts all boats. Help your neighbor. Be good. Love ya. Bye.